They said they believed in Yeshua, but they kept going back and trusting in animal sacrifices. And Yahweh said, don't worry. The same way that second generation out of Egypt replaced the first through a renewal of the covenant, this generation that believes in Yeshua, that walks in the Torah, that knows Yahweh in their hearts, that knows Yahweh in their beings, that generation will replace the current Jewish leadership that is getting old and is ready to disappear. Father, we thank you for your truth in your word today. Abu Yahweh, Kol HaKavod Lecha. We are Israel, come forward quickly. Kol HaKavod Lecha. Kol HaKavod HaMalchutecha Leolam V'ed. The kingdom is yours, Abba Yahweh, forever and forever.
Thank you, Abba.
Malchutecha HaKavod. Abba Shabashamayim. Father, we see it now so clearly.
Yes.
How in Ephraim 8:13 that growing old was the people, the leaders, the blind leaders of Judah and Ephraim who refused to come into the renewed covenant, who began but didn't allow their hearts and their minds to be full of your Torah, or those who outright rejected your son from Yehudah. And so, Father, we thank you that you showed us that the priesthood of Israel at that time was ready to grow old and decay and disappear, because Yeshua was a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. And so, Father, you were showing us so clearly that those who do not enter into the real reason of the Brit Hadashah, the blood of redemption and the instructions of righteousness, what Galatians 6:2 calls the Torah of Mashiach. The real Mashiach didn't come to free us from Torah, but to bring us into our hearts and into our minds. Not till we'd have a new opportunity to continue in lawlessness, which were forgiven under the first covenant, but to be free from lawlessness through obedience. And so, Father, we see that today that all these years we've been taught that the second covenant came to replace the old, decaying, and aged first covenant. But Father, you clearly teach us in Hebrews 8:7 that the fault was not with the word of Yahweh. The fault was with them.
Yes.
You found fault with them. Abba Yahweh, you also found fault with us.
Yes, Father.
Both houses of Israel.
Both houses.
Yehudah and Ephraim. But Father, by your chesed, you beckon us to arrive and to come into the renewed covenant, to hide ourselves in a better priesthood, with better leadership, and a better king, built and established on better promises. Because the first is old, aged, and ready to disappear. And Father, we know that what you did in those days, you're doing again. Even as the leadership of Jewish Israel was aging and ready to be removed through disobedience in favor of the new generation of Notzrei Yisrael. Even today, Father, as it is written, I want to read close, in Yecheskel 34, as it is written, in Yecheskel 34, you're tearing down the institutions of the mother church. And you are sending the sheep out into the highways and byways to get fed. Every eye closed. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of Yahweh. As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, because my flock became a prey, my flock became food for every beast of the field, not having a shepherd. My shepherds did not search for my flock. The shepherds fed themselves and did not feed my flock. Therefore, O shepherds, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Master Yahweh, see, I am against the shepherds, because they're aged and old and ready to pass away. I will require my flock at their hand. I will make them cease from feeding the sheep. And the shepherds shall feed themselves no more. And I will deliver my flock from their mouths. And they shall no longer be food for them. For thus saith the Master Yahweh, see, I myself will search for my sheep and seek them out. So Father, we know that the current shepherds, even as it was in the first century, who feed themselves and don't feed the sheep, the truth, are going to be removed. You will cause them to cease in this final hour. And Father, you said you would give them shepherds after your own heart. Amen. You said that you would come and seek and save that, Luke 19:10, which was lost. And so Father, we thank you that in this day you're shaking the institutions of religion and bringing folks into the truth and fullness of the Brit Hadashah, so that no more they can seek to know Yahweh even after believing in the blood, but so that they can all know you from the least to the greatest as they obey you as your Moshiach obeyed you. Father, you said that those who were hungry, who were former prey for these shepherds, would come and be rescued by you. And Father, we know in these days they have come to be rescued by you, because the current shepherds are growing old, ready to decay, and soon to disappear. But Father, we thank you that the word of Yahweh is settled forever in heaven. Father, we know you hid your word and settled it forever in heaven, lest man corrupt it, lest man change it. Father, we know that Torah cannot age or disappear. You said it is life for you. You said it would never disappear.
Never disappear.
Heaven and earth would pass, and Torah would never disappear.
Never disappear.
You said your Torah would outlast heaven and earth.
Oh,
and so we know, Father, Hebrews 8:13 can't be talking about Torah disappearing, but the Torah breakers, the ones you found fault with, have disappeared and no longer lead renewed covenant Israel. Thank you, Abba, for this truth. In Yeshua's mighty name, Kol HaKehillah Yimeru. Amen. Amen.